Dante Alighieri is an Italian poet from the late Middle Ages. He's responsible for something called the Divine Comedy, which is a story of himself going through the three afterlives. Obviously being the Inferno, or hell if you prefer, purgatory, and paradise, or heaven. Now the Divine Comedy influences a lot of media nowadays as well. I mean, hell, just look at Devil May Cry. They named two of the characters off of characters from the Divine Comedy. Dante obviously being named after Dante Alighieri himself, and Virgil being named after the guide that led Dante through hell. I find the Inferno to be the most interesting part of the Divine Comedy, mainly because never before have I ever thought of hell as 9 circles where people are punished individually for their sins in life. Now, I'm not like a fucking demon worshiper or a Satanist or anything. I just find this kind of shit interesting. Visceral Games, which is a game company that is now shut down, thanks a lot, EA. Well, they created the Dead Space franchise, and they also created a weird game called Dante's Inferno, which is about Dante Alighieri going through hell. Except this time, he doesn't really just rely on Virgil, and he's not scared. No, this time he's a fucking crusader who kills death, steals his scythe, breaks down the gates of hell, jumps in, and pretty much just stomps a mud hole in every demon that comes his way. So, no, it's not really accurate to the Divine Comedy, 100%. It does take a lot of imagery, and the setting is pretty much as spot on as you could get for a video game to that described in the Divine Comedy. The plot of the game is pretty fucking simple. So basically, it's all about Dante going through hell trying to find his lover Beatrice, who was snatched up by Lucifer because she made a wager to him that Dante would be faithful on his crusade, and Dante was not. Dante actually commits a lot of fucking sins. A shitload. And this cross that he sews onto his chest is basically in memorabilia of all the fucking sins that he committed. There are points in the game where when he reaches every circle of hell, he'll remember sins that he committed through these little animated cutscenes. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty creative way to show a lot of fucking death and crazy shit. Jesus Christ. Now, during this crusade, Dante was technically killed, but when Death showed up, Dante told Death to fuck off, and he just killed the shit out of him. But when Dante returns back home, he finds that his father and his lover Beatrice has been killed, and Beatrice's spirit has been snatched up by Lucifer because she made a wager with him that Dante would remain faithful.
By all that is holy, I vow to forsake all pleasures of the flesh until I return.
Praise of Florentina, in payment for taking the cross to reclaim the Holy Land, your immaculate father hereby absolves you of all your sins.
Jesus Christ. So, with Beatrice's cross in his possession, which is the most overpowered fucking weapon in a video game, Dante just kills his shit out of all these fucking monsters that come his way as he makes his way to the gates of hell. Now, the gameplay is incredibly similar to the old God of War games, more so than it is to Devil May Cry. So I don't really need to explain it very much because it is incredibly simple. When Dante finally reaches the gate of hell, he meets Virgil, who tells Dante that Beatrice has asked him to guide Dante through the Inferno. Dante enters the gate and descends straight into hell. It's here that you automatically get a sense of this game's setting. You see a bunch of fucking corpses flooding like waterfall, being dropped into hell. It's fucking great. And the ominous music the whole time is kind of just the cherry on the top of this disturbing fucking nightmare.
Into the blind world we have now descended. Put all fear and cowardice aside. We have come to the cliffs above Acheron. Wretched souls walk this tortured path to board Charon's vessel.
The Inferno is separated into 9 circles, starting with limbo, then lust, gluttony, greed, wrath, heresy, violence, fraud, and finally treachery. Now, each punishment is more severe than the last. Obviously, if you're a traitor, well, your afterlife's going to be pretty fucking shit. Now, in the Divine Comedy, a soul or shade would have to board Charon's boat to be transferred deeper into hell.
Through me, the way to everlasting pain. Abandon all hope. Ye enter here.
In the Divine Comedy, Charon is this creepy little fucker on a boat, but in this game, apparently he's a giant fucking talking boat. And God knows why he's a boat.
All souls that die from every nation collect here as one. Charon's rough crossing awaits those who did not fear the Lord.
After boarding Charon, you're led to the first circle of hell, Limbo.
Beyond Limbo is the fallen king Minos, judge of the damned. But for those who remain in Limbo, the rest shall be sentenced to the circles below.
Limbo is about as tame as it gets, as it's not really that bad of a circle of hell, I guess. I mean, you're denied paradise, but at least you're not fucking tortured for all eternity. I like to think of Limbo as the waiting room of hell. And at the end of the waiting room, there's this big fucking ugly dude named King Minos who judges all the damned souls that he gets.
One who loves Beatrice! Tell me where to find her!
I smell only a traitor, a glutton, murderer.
Sniff again!
So, of course, you gotta fight the Judge of the Damned. And, well, he's not too hard. But, you know, you kill him, and I gotta ask, if he's dead, and he's the dude that sends souls into their rightful place in hell, then isn't that gonna fuck something up in hell? Oh, like, I'm thinking obviously too deep into this. Now, like I said, you kill the absolute shit out of King Minos. Oh, that's fucking nice. Every time you complete one circle of hell, there's always a part where you descend through to the next circle, and there's usually like a small little puzzle every now and again, and each circle on the descent, there's this chain that you have to cut, and of course when you destroy it, you hear laughter. Gee, I wonder who that could be. So I'm not really going to go into too much detail in the second circle, which is lust. For obvious reasons, there's some nudity. you know, pretty much everything that YouTube hates. And my videos already have a hard enough time on YouTube as it is. I will just say that there's a big-ass tornado that blows people around basically for all eternity. So that's pretty pleasant, I guess.
The winds of lust smite these damned. No hope of less pain, no hope of rest ever comforts them.
So I'm just going to fast track to the third circle, gluttony, and what...
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
For the ruinous fault of gluttony are these sad souls broken by the rain and the mud.
So before we can enter gluttony, we have to confront this big fucking face thingy. Oh my god. Yeah, it looks just like Cerberus, I guess. Yes, after you beat Cerberus, you get to enter gluttony finally, and it is a nasty ass place. There's just mud and rain and shite and giant fucking worms. It's fucking disgusting. The fourth circle, greed, is probably the longest fucking circle in the entire game. It just fucking goes on. And there's death traps everywhere, and there's instant kill pits of gold that if you fall into, you die. It's kind of fucking tedious, honestly. At the end of greed, you have to confront Dante's father.
So, you think you're a better man than your father?
I think I am too much the same man as my father.
Then turn back, coward!
Beatrice does not deserve this. I will not go back without her.
Then we'll find out who's the better man.
So of course, you gotta lay the smacketh down upon Dante's father.
Go on! Use me as an excuse! Blame me for everything!
You're so full of greed and hate. Is that all you had to offer me?
I'm not responsible for the man you are!
And I will not be damned like you.
Thank God we're done with the fourth circle. Next is circle 5, anger, or wrath, I guess if you want to call it that. So this circle's main attraction is the River Styx, which is one of the major rivers of hell. There's 4 of them. I'll get into that later on. But basically, don't fall into the fucking River Styx or you die.
See the souls over whom anger has prevailed. In the warm bath of the sun, they were once hateful. Down here in the black sludge of the River Styx, do they wish they had never been born?
So this floor is basically you trying not to fall into the River Styx and safely reach the city of Dis, which basically marks the halfway point of hell. Also, you have to avoid being killed by this big red angry kaiju looking motherfucker. But at the end of that floor, you find out that Beatrice has pretty much given up and joined Lucifer to become his queen of hell. But that doesn't mean Dante's gonna give up, because he gets on the back of that big angry kaiju looking motherfucker and he just stomps his way towards the city of Dis. The circles before this have mostly been about how you treat your fellow man and how you treat yourself, really. Like pleasures of the flesh and all that kind of shit. But after the 6th circle, that's when it starts to be more about being sinful to God himself. So circle 6 is heresy. And basically it's kind of just not really all that interesting gameplay wise. Doesn't really add anything new. Pretty much it's just a bunch of fire and shit because there's flaming tombs everywhere.
Here you will find the heretics and followers of every cult and pagan sect, all buried together, burning in eternal fire.
I'm not trying to be blasphemous or anything, but the 6th circle of hell is kind of fucking boring. Now, Seventh Circle, that's where it's at. Seventh Circle is all about violence, and it's separated into 3 different areas. The Phlegethon, or River of Boiling Blood, is pretty much the punishment for those who are violent towards other people. Then it goes for the Suicide Woods, which is obviously violence onto oneself. And then the Abominable Sands, which is violence unto God.
In violence, wounds and death are inflicted against one's neighbors. This ring torments those who murder and plunder, and every soul who wrongfully smites another.
Now, this is probably my favorite circle of the game, mainly because it's just like Greed, it's quite lengthy, but unlike Greed, it's not annoying as hell, and also it looks really, really fucking nightmarish.
One may lay violent hands upon oneself, and therefore in this place, those who deprived themselves of their lives repent in vain.
In the Suicide Forest, Dante finds his mother, and he finds out that she couldn't stand Dante's father and the way he treated her, so she ended her own life.
Forgive me.
The fault is mine. I had not the courage to protect you. Can you forgive me?
I should have... Mother, why did I lose everything?
Some men change, son. Others become the man they once were. The man they wish to be.
Beatrice was all I had. Why did I betray her?
It is too late for us, son. There is still time for her.
In the last area, the Abominable Sands, Dante fights crusaders that he once fought alongside with, meaning that basically their crusade was nothing but violence unto God. And at the end of it, he has to fight Francesco, who was basically his sworn brother, and is actually the brother of Beatrice, who Dante swore that he would protect, but he actually ended up condemning him to death. So Circle 8, Fraud. Now, this circle should have been really massive, seeing as how there's, in the Divine Comedy, there is so many different things and punishments, different types of fraud, really. But in the game, it basically boils down to, like 8 little mini challenges. This is definitely my least favorite circle in the whole fucking game. Like, I'm very aware that I'm playing a video game right now. At the end of Fraud, Dante confronts Beatrice, and he tells her that he came to take her back, and he's already fought through all of the sins that he's committed. But she tells him that he hasn't went through the last sin, which is the worst one of them all, the 9th circle of hell, treachery. And he looks upon it and sees that, yeah, he realizes that he's definitely a traitor.
God in heaven. Who is responsible for this? Take care of my sister. I am responsible.
Hang him. Prepare to march tonight.
At this point, Dante gives up, realizing that his place is definitely in hell, but he still wants to absolve Beatrice. And upon seeing the fact that he brought her cross all the way through hell with him, I guess it kind of just absolves Beatrice. I guess, I don't really know. But then this fucking angel dude comes down and, like, snatches up Beatrice, and he tells Dante that Dante has to go finish what he started, because there's like some kind of big ass battle coming up. You know, setting up a fucking sequel. So finally, the last circle of hell, treachery.
Spur yourself onward, Dante. The final circle is near.
The first time I reached this, I wondered just what the hell the last circle could possibly be. Now, I had never read the Divine Comedy or anything like that, but I can tell you one goddamn thing. I sure as fuck didn't expect the last circle of hell to be a giant fucking ice cube. Now, the final circle isn't big at all. It's mostly a boss fight, and that's pretty much it. It does take place on the frozen lake Cocytus, which is the last river of hell. Fun fact, earlier I mentioned there were 4 rivers in hell, obviously one of them being Cocytus, but in all actuality, there's Acheron, which is the river at the very beginning of hell. Then there's the river Styx, which is in the middle in anger. Then there's the one in violence, the Phlegethon. But all of 3 of those rivers actually just drain all the way down to the bottom of hell into treachery, where they're frozen by Lucifer and turned into Cocytus.
Fun fact of the day.
For betraying the love and trust that nature makes, at the center of the universe, in the seat of the devil himself, every traitor is consumed eternally.
All that's left is to break that last chain of Judeca and free the devil himself. Turns out that Lucifer only stole Beatrice because he knew that Dante's sins were so great that he would be able to enter hell and eventually free himself.
You are the best, Dante. Many have tried and many have failed me. Brave Ulysses, the great Alexander, Attila, Lancelot. Only you possessed a soul black enough to free me.
So it turns out that the giant thing that you were fighting is actually just, I guess, Lucifer's prison cell? Fuck if I know, because there's the real Lucifer. This big goat-looking motherfucker.
Not you! Did you really think this was all about the girl? She was the bait!
So, what do you gotta do? You gotta just beat the shit out of the devil. Of course, Dante ended up forgetting that he's actually been dead this entire fucking time, and he can't exactly leave hell if he's already dead.
You're dead, Dante. You can't go anywhere. Not a single soul may leave this place. It is forbidden by him. Free me!
But it's all good because Dante says that he's going to use all the souls that he's absolved, you know, on his journey from stomping a mud hole straight up hell's ass. And he's going to use those souls to absolve him now. So he puts Lucifer back in timeout. He gets sealed back up, and Dante is able to pass over onto the next plane of existence, which I'm guessing is purgatory, seeing as how that's what comes after the Inferno in
Dante.
You know, in the actual Divine Comedy.
I did not die, and I did not live.
Ah, horse shit!
Nothing makes me want to poop a duke in frustration more than seeing a goddamn to be continued on something that you know damn well will never be fucking continued. This game was made in 2010. It's 2020. There's no fucking chance for a sequel. Especially seeing as how Visceral Games was shut down 3 years ago. So the game was out 7 years, and Visceral never did a goddamn thing with it. I mean, sure, the game looks generic. Okay, so fucking what? There's a lot of generic games out there that get fucking sequels. Alright, so why the fuck did this one not? The atmosphere alone makes this game worth playing. And it makes it worth it to have a fucking sequel. Just think of what this game would look like with brand new graphics on the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. I mean, that would be fucking gorgeous. I mean, it'd be nasty because hell's a nasty place, but you know what I mean. It deserves some kind of fucking recognition. But it never will, because Visceral Games is no more. Fuck you, EA.